So Markian, what are you doing over here?
I am making a mask.
Now I want to ask you something. What's it like to have an arm that's smaller than the other one?
I mean, I guess I really don't think about it that much anymore because I was born with it.
Okay.
So I've had it for like my entire life ever since I came out of the womb. So I think that kind of gives me a different perspective on it because like I see a lot of people who people who are in war or like amputees or like in car accidents, like they've lost their limbs because something happened to them, but they knew what it was felt like to have that limb beforehand. So for me, it's kind of like I never really had that, so I never really lost anything. So for me, this like is my normal hand, so I really don't think twice about it anymore.
Okay. Do people ever ask you about it?
Yeah. More when I was younger. I think people asked about it a lot more.
And how'd you feel like when they asked you?
I mean, it was kind of just like, I've always been pretty comfortable about it. When I was little, my parents, I always knew about it. My parents were it was never really awkward. My family always accepted me for it. They'd always tell me you're perfect or everything like that. You can do everything, which was nice. Always had support at home, which was very, very important. But when I was younger, I knew that I was different in a way that other people weren't, and I guess that kind of affected me how I grew up. But now that
did those people ever look at you differently and make comments?
Yeah, when you're younger, I think now that I think it's more younger kids because I think it's harder for them to understand it, and it's not that they're being insensitive about it. It's just they just don't understand. So when I'm babysitting or stuff like that, or meeting new kids, they'll be like, oh, what happened to your arm? And they'll kind of stare at it. Whereas an adult will kind of just look at it and then kind of look away because they know the social implications of that. And I don't want to say it, but it's very easy for me to notice when people are looking at it because I've had it for so long. It doesn't make me upset or anything like that. I just notice it.
Were you ever upset about it? Did you ever wish that, wow, I wish my arms were the same length? Or...
Not really. I can honestly say that I've never wished that because like I said beforehand, my family, especially my grandma was a big part of that. She'd always tell me you can do everything, God, like I said, we're very religious. So she was God gave you a mind, and she made you intelligence. That's all you really need. Physical things aren't important. It's more of what you can do and what you can comprehend. So I can honestly say that I've never really felt inadequate in any way, anything like that. It's just me. It's just a part of who I am, So
what's it like going through your everyday life, doing what you're doing now, which is, making a mask and just writing or typing and anything? Is it driving especially?
Well,
what's that like?
For art stuff, it's really not that big of a deal, that's kind of why I like mushy stuff, because you would think that I wouldn't like working with my hands, but I actually love working with my hands.
Really?
When I was little, I would love to play Lego, build Legos 24/7. Yeah, I love doing things with my hands, which would it's just kind of funny, but I think that's good because it builds my motor functions and stuff like that.
So is this arm stronger than that one?
This one is stronger. I don't have a lot of movement in this one, but for driving, when I got my license, my person I passed the test. My person was oh, we have to go and see. You have to get one of those ball things for the steering wheel to help
you.
a
handicap one?
To help me turn. But then I was I don't need that. I've never looked at myself as handicapped. I don't view that. I don't think I have a deformity or any sort of handicapped. I don't think anyone in general who is in a wheelchair, for example, actually feels everyday life. I just use my left hand. I use my left hand to write. It's really not that big of a deal, but I get by. You kind of just switch what you do, what I do and stuff like that. When I'm carrying plates, I have a way of doing it, or I won't hold it with my hands. I'll hold it with my arm for a plate. It's just little things that I'm just used to that I kind of developed when I was younger that I still do today.